All right, I'm so excited today. I am under the hood of the KW Command engine, and I'm looking at ways that we can work with software that we like, um, using some automated processes until KW or KW Command integrates with that particular software. So, for example, I have just recently got all set up on GetResponse email, and I'm not ready to make a change onto anything that KW has as far as the specific email program until I get all my campaigns and whatnot in there, and then we'll see. I really like GetResponse. Now, what I understand is that the idea of KW Command is to provide an end-to-end solution. There will be a lot of a third-party software that we no longer need, but the option is there to use them when we want to. So at this point, PieSync, which you're looking at right here, is kind of a gap bridge, if you will. It works similar to Zapier, and Zapier has a if this, then that formula, and PieSync does the same thing. So this is my first time in PieSync, and I was super excited to immediately see that they do work with GetResponse. And oh my gosh, guys, there are a ton of integration options with PieSync. Now, I am an affiliate with PieSync. I'll put a link below in the video. What you can do is you can go ahead and sign up with PieSync, get your account set up, and then you can integrate it with KW. Not sure yet. I have to play with this and find out how their pricing works as far as if there's anything that we're getting special from KW, if PieSync is then free. So let me look into that and find out if there's anything special going on there. But I believe what I had to do is go in and set up my PieSync account first and then link it to them. All right, so let's take a look at PieSync here. And what I was able to do is I was able to go in, and I'll show you how this works. Create a new connection. I'll open this on a new tab so we can look at it from here. So PieSync, we're going to open a new connection, and here are all of the options available for you. PieSync works with Infusionsoft, Keep, with HubSpot, with GetResponse, with MailChimp. Tons and tons of apps here. Lots of our most popular apps that we're using. Phone Burner, the Auto Dialer. There's lots of Salesforce. Okay. So what you do is you go on and click the integration that you want, and then you activate it. In fact, let me look if it has Opt-in Monster, because that's one that I'm using. So what we're going to do now is we would click, in this particular case, I'm using GetResponse, so I'm going to go ahead and click GetResponse. And then it would ask you to connect that with KW Command. Okay, so in this particular case, I'm in the actual PieSync software on its own, but you can see it here in Command. So you can do all of this in Command. You can do all of this separately in PieSync. Now, I personally like opening this separately in PieSync, where I can manage all of my syncs at one time. So they're integrated, but PieSync is still its own independent software, if that makes sense. Okay, so we go ahead and connect GetResponse with KW, and it'll ask you for your password for your GetResponse account, your login and password, and then it links them up. So in this particular case, I've already linked them up. So you can see here, KW Command is now communicating with Constant Contact with my username and password, my username and password. Now what I have to do is tell PieSync, what do I want it to do? And this is where it gets geeky, but super, super fun for people like me, because I love if this, then that formulas and automation, because it just makes my life so much easier. So what I can say is connection rules. If a contact is in KW Command and has a tag or is marked as a lead, or anything I want on here, it matches all the fields. So whatever I want to match up with. If a contact in KW Command has a tag buyer, okay, so in my case, my KW leads are tagged with buyer, then sync it with constant contact and add it to a list. Then you select your list, and in my case, I have Ballen Vegas leads. Okay. Now, there's an undo option. If KW contact does not have tag buyer, then remove it from the list. But we got to be really careful about doing that kind of stuff, because you could end up removing things from your list you don't want. So we only want to make sure that we know what we're doing when we're doing this here, okay? All right, so I'm just going to turn those off because I just want if this, then that. Let's keep it really simple. And then the other way, if a contact is in constant contact, add filter, and it has one of these things, okay? Or if a contact is in constant contact and is in the list Ballen Vegas leads, then sync it two-way between KW command and constant contact, and I'm going to say tag it as a buyer lead. See that? Now, the reason why that tag popped up is because I already have it in command. All right, now, guys, this can get overwhelming very quickly. If you are somebody like me that understands this type of thinking, then here's a video for you. Great, go get it. Start setting things up, okay? I'm going to start merging all kinds of things through this process. I'm hoping, let me see if PieSync has send out cards. I'm going to have to start playing with all this stuff, and I'll bring you lots of training on which ones it does and which ones it doesn't. Okay, so sometimes we may have to use Zapier to do certain things, and sometimes, like for example, I may have to do if command, then constant contact, then send out cards or something like that. I may have to play with those kind of things. With Infusionsoft, all I had to do was there's a marketplace that has an app that integrates those for me. So I'm going to have to look at what I can do here. And I'm going to be bringing you all of the Ballen method, ways to do all this as we grow. There's going to be some really simple tutorials, like today I did how to add a contact, and there's going to be Ballen traditional hacks, which is my style, where I learn how to do things that the system wasn't even naturally designed for, and probably break it along the way, because that's what I do. Okay, so this is cool too. When a conflicting change is detected, which one wins? And in my case, I'm going to leave it in constant contact until I get KW command exactly where I want it to do. And then down here we have don't sync deleted contacts, add contacts to the list. Okay, first name, and where do you want it to go? First name, last name, middle. So this is basically just mapping what field is in command and what field you have in whatever database you're integrating, in this case, constant contact, right? So you just got to make sure that they match, because it's going to import them directly over, okay? And then we start syncing. If you already use a built-in or third-party integration between these two apps, please disable it, or your contacts could be duplicated. Remove your duplicates first. Here's your 5 quick steps to prep your data. Okay. Now, in my case, I am really getting behind command so that I can teach it, so that I can share with the agents that have been following my trainings for years and figure out best practices for how to use the technology. So what we're going to find is I'm okay with breaking things, because it doesn't matter right now. I'm just poking the box and playing with it and testing what works, and I'll be bringing best practices and showing you what works. So this is super, super exciting to me. This is first step here, that we have this ability to use PieSync to integrate third-party integrations, specifically email platforms. So if you have been using something, but you want to start moving over to command, you can set up this sync now, and then any of your leads that funnel into Infusionsoft or funnel into Salesforce or funnel into wherever, they can also funnel into command. So then when you're ready to make any major changes, you've got these two working. And then you can also kind of play with both softwares. What do you like? What don't you like? Testing them, and then make your own decisions on what you want to keep in the long term. Okay, so this is just one option for you. I'll be bringing you tons of training. Subscribe to the channel. I'm Las Vegas, Lori Ballen.